Hi class, this is Mr. Ayers this time. Looked for some videos over finding the angles using trig ratios. Couldn't really find a good one, so I figured I'd make my own. Maybe. There we go. There we go. All right, so I've got two goals just real quick here. Should be a pretty quick presentation. I'm going to locate the buttons on your calculator that you're going to use to do this, and then use the trig ratios to find missing angle measures. So first, just a quick review. We spent the past few weeks going over, your big three. We looked at SOHCAHTOA. So sine was opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine was adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. We've looked at those the past few weeks. Should feel pretty comfortable with those at this point. They do have inverses. They do have an inverse. Remember, whenever we solve an equation, we use inverse operations. So when we see addition, we subtract. When we see subtraction, we add. When we see multiplication, we divide. When we see squaring, we take a square root, etc. Sine, cosine, and tangent also have inverses. Those are inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. We can use those to then solve equations. So for example, say I were asked to solve for u in this case. Sine of u is equal to 0.8163. The way we would solve this is to take u equals inverse sine of 0.8163. Now, there's no way for me to know what this is. I'm going to have to use a calculator. All right, so let's locate those on our calculators now. So let me keep those annotations there. Come into the calculator. So wherever your sine, your cosine, tangent buttons are on your calculator, right above those, you see on my calculator right here, you see sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. So what I'm going to do, it's kind of weird. This was too big. So you got the screen here. You've got the keys right here. It's a little bit weird, like I said. So we wanted shift sine. So sine inverse of it was 0.8163. Oops, I don't think I'm in the right mode here, so I need to fix that. So setup, I need to do that real quick. Yep, sure enough. Let me just fix that. All right, let's try that again. Shift inverse sine of 0.8163. There we go. 54.7. So let me come back in here. 54.7. And we'll see soon that that's in degrees. So now, I'd recommend you go ahead and take a second, pause it, find your inverse tangent button, and find this one. So it's going to be tangent inverse of 1.9276, which is about, let's find out. Keep those again. Tangent inverse here, inverse tangent of 1.9276, 62.58. Make sure I use the right numbers there. I did 62 point, so that's 62.6. Oh, how to turn black? Oh, because I'm not in full screen. 62.6 degrees. All right, so that's all well and good, but what you're going to have to be asked to do on your assignment is to use these ratios to find angle measures of a triangle. So let me pull this up. So we are asked to find measure of angle D. We want to find this. So I'm looking at this. That's your hypotenuse. Over here is going to be adjacent because it's touching this angle. And over here is going to be opposite. So I'm looking at it. I've got adjacent and I've got hypotenuse. So think about what ratio should we use there. We should use cosine. So cosine of D, what the heck, is equal to adjacent 6/7. So D equals inverse cosine of 6/7. We'd punch that into a calculator. Keep those annotations. So cosine inverse 6 divided by 7, because at the end of the day, a fraction is just division. Oh, error. My guess would be that I need parentheses, if I'm guessing. Let's try that. There we go. So 31 looks like would be the answer there if you're doing that in IXL. So this would be 31 degrees. I like black better. I think I'm just going to keep it in this mode. So next slide. Let's take a look at another one. Find the measure of, it got cut off, but it looks pretty clear like that's an S. So we're asked to find S this time. So S, think about what ratio could I use? Here's hypotenuse, which I don't know. Here's opposite. Here's adjacent. So I've got opposite and adjacent. So what ratio involves opposite and adjacent? Tangent does. Tangent of S is equal to 4/6. And don't worry about simplifying that fraction. That's not a big deal. We'll just punch this into our calculator. So S equals, and we'll put that in parentheses. So we'll take shift, tangent inverse, parenthesis, don't forget that this time, 4 divided by 6. And it is 33.7, it looks like. So 33.7 would be our answer there. 33, yeah, near 10th. So 33.7 degrees. A couple more real quick here. Probably be a little bit quicker about these. So, got some good, get some radicals in here. So angle S, marking these up. This is opposite. This is not adjacent. That is hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. So I would use sine because I've got opposite and hypotenuse. Sine of S is equal to 16√5 over 32√5. And this is one where, just for the ease of punching into a calculator, I might just say, oh, well, cross these out, one on top, one on bottom. So I'll just say sine of S, or S, is equal to the inverse sine of 16 divided by 32. Is probably how I'd go about that. So I'll just hammer that into the calculator real quick. Shift, inverse sine, parentheses, 16 divided by 32, 30. So exactly 30 degrees. And one more here. The root 14 over the root 77. Let's see, I got Q. That is, here's opposite. Here is adjacent. I want to use tangent. Q is going to equal the tangent inverse of the root 14 over the root 77. And in that case, I'm really not going to have much of a choice but to keep those roots. That's not the same thing as 14 over 77. So going to have to keep that as it is. So I'll show you how to type that in. So I wanted tangent, so shift inverse tangent, a parenthesis. Square root is going to be shift, where are you? There you are, square root of 14, or how about this? Square root 14 divided by square root 77, and I'll take the inverse tangent of my answer. ANS. Make use of that key. So it's 23.1, it looks like. Did I make it in 10 minutes? Oh, just missed it. Just over 10 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you for watching.